All right, everyone. Welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest and actually a real dear friend of mine I haven't spoken to in over 15
Yep.
years. Pete Ruiz, photographer from Colorado Springs. Welcome, sir.
How's it going, man?
Hello, dude.
Yeah, it's been about 15 years.
Yeah, it's been about 15 years, guys, that I've hadn't seen this guy till today. He reached out to me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, you have a podcast?" I was like, "And hey, I got to tell you honestly, the funny thing was, I did not know it was you at
Hmm.
first. I looked at, I was like, I
Yeah.
was checking out your page, and I was just like, God, this guy looks familiar."
Yeah, I don't have a last name up there, man. It's just Pete on there. So,
Yeah,
it's hard,
exactly.
it's hard to
So
tell, man.
yeah, that's all I was all like, okay. But the way I knew it was you is when we already arranged the interview setup and all that. And then I asked for you to send me a photo for me to create your podcast poster. And then once you sent me that photo, I was like, oh my God, that's Pete.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Oh,
And I
dude.
don't even know how I came across your page, to be honest, man. Like some cross and I was like, oh, I just like the title, man. Like I was like, oh, this sounds like an interesting podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
And
thanks,
I was like, holy crap, like I know this guy.
man.
So it was just so cool, man.
Well, and that's the same with you. I was looking at your work. I was like, damn, this photographer's pretty good, man. I was like, I want to meet, like, talk to this dude. Here
Yeah, man.
we are. That's funny, bro.
Yeah,
But all right, man. Well, welcome to the podcast. Thank you
awesome.
for your time and being here, and
Yeah,
looking forward
man.
to going forward with our each other sharing our stories.
Yeah, man.
So one thing about me is I worked. It's okay to bring this up about Hastings.
Yeah. That
Okay,
was
cool.
good. Yeah, definitely.
Uh, I met Pete at Hastings. I don't know if you all remember Hastings, but that place was so cool.
So
It
cool,
had
man.
like video games, it had music,
Movies,
books,
books,
cafe, you
coffee.
could
Yeah,
rent movies. It was like pretty much Blockbuster, Barnes and Noble,
yeah. That's
FYE,
good.
all
Pretty
combined into
much.
one. It was so cool. I loved it. That was like
Yeah,
the whole place to go to on the weekends. So.
yeah. People miss that whole store now. People, it's like, man, nostalgia. You don't know what you got till it's gone, and people are like, man, you wish you had that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
dude, for
it was
real.
it was ahead of its time. I think. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude, it was. It was definitely ahead of its time. And I loved it, dude, because the cafe, you just sit there and you just have like local musicians singing,
Yep. Yeah. I
just
had
read
people.
poems and just it was cool. It was just
Yeah.
setting.
It
Something
was
to
a good
look forward
time.
to every weekend.
Yeah. It was a good time.
But that's where Pete and I met, was
Yep.
Hastings. And I think I remember it just so like it just either I think I was helping you unload some stuff from your car for the cafe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were just like, "Hey, let's," and then can you help me run some errands for the? I'm like, "Yeah." I think they told me to help you out
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the morning, and I was like, "Yeah." And then from there, we talked in your car, running some errands to buy some more supplies, and
Yeah. Yeah.
from there, we're just hit it off. So
Yeah, yeah, that was those man, those good times though.
good times, bro.
Yeah.
But I want to get to know your story, bro. So I want to know
All
how to get
right.
started on photography.
So it starts way back, when I was still in high school. To be honest, I was in the journalism class or multimedia class or whatever. So
Okay,
we had I would go out shoot photos of sports for the school and stuff for the
oh,
little
nice.
newspaper. And back then we were still shooting on the cameras with the floppy disks that you put in.
What?
Like they were so old. Like they didn't have the nicest stuff. So
Oh wow.
a little couple of years later, maybe 2005, when I lived in Abilene by myself, I bought like a Kodak, kind of like a point and shoot camera. And that was kind of my first like better camera where you would take decent photos for, I mean, 2005, technology and cameras was still being worked, it wasn't as it is today, but
Um,
Kodak was, a big company for photography and film. So bought this little Kodak and, would learn how to shoot a little bit. And then it wasn't until 2017 that I picked it back up because I stopped shooting. I mean, I just stopped for the longest time.
okay.
So 2017, I bought a Sony, basic starter crop sensor camera from Best Buy.
Hmm.
And at that time, I moved to Central Asia. Um,
Whoa.
sorry, wait. So I was still living in Texas, in Wichita Falls at this time, and
Okay.
started learning how to actually shoot with a real camera with, an f-stop and ISO, and like learning how to change the aperture, and just started shooting, basically just things that I could find, around the house,
Mm.
just to learn. And then it wasn't until a couple years late, actually, it was probably like a year and a half later, that I had to move to Central Asia for work, and I upgraded my camera to A7 Sony A7 II because it was on like 50% off. So I'm like, oh, this is a steal.
Oh,
Like you can't beat $800 for a camera body and lens.
oh,
So
God, dude, that's a good.
um, there really wasn't a lot to do in Central Asia, so I would go hiking a lot in the mountains because it's really all there is. We're surrounded by mountains. So I started doing a lot of landscape photography and
Oh,
end up upgrading to a wider lens to like a 16 millimeter Sigma lens and started doing more landscape stuff. And after that, I moved to Germany, um, and of course, COVID hit.
oh, well, yeah.
So couldn't shoot people, couldn't really go out. So I started shooting products in my house, just, whatever, coffee cup, jewelry and things just it was just around my house. And then a couple companies reached out and was like, hey, can you, we'll send you some stuff if you shoot some shots. I'm like, okay,
Ah,
yeah,
is
I'll,
that
I'll do
right,
that.
dude?
Yeah, so I started shooting just random, just novelty type items, and whatever people would send me, I would shoot and send them pictures back. And so I started kind of honing in more on my photography skills, and
Awesome.
I didn't really have a style, to be honest, until probably more recently that I actually started catering more of a specific style.
Okay.
So fast forward through Germany, moved to Colorado. I upgraded from Sony to Canon.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, I felt the Canon had more of a smoother photo look. So
Hmm.
lenses are expensive, man. So,
Oh, yeah.
and I had put, well over $3,000 into my Sony setup. So,
Wow.
I was like, you know what, I can afford it. I'll switch to Canon. So I got Canon, an entry Canon camera because I wasn't ready to go full like R5, R6 that,
Okay.
at the time.
Yeah.
So I have a Canon EOS RP, which is their standard entry full frame camera, but I'll have a Canon 15 to 35 lens, which is it's a good price tag for that lens,
Yeah.
and that's what I primarily use is that 15 to 35.
Okay.
So it wasn't until I got to Colorado that I started like kind of honing in more into a specific type of photography,
Okay.
because I would just shoot to whatever I had in my hands or just whatever I was looking at, and then I came across this photographer from Sweden actually recently. His name is Alex Radsby,
Okay.
and he made a comment because I love his style. It's like this vintage,
Yeah.
dark, moody, kind of like I do, but more film look because he shoots with like a Leica.
Okay.
And he had a picture of like an air conditioning vent in the subway station or something. I can't remember, man. I
Okay.
just remember it's like there's just one thing on a wall, and I was like, man, like I had so much inspiration from this one stupid item that is
Yeah.
not a normal shot. It's stupid. Like, why would you take a picture of a vent? But there's something so poetic about just that one thing. It's mundane. It's not an extraordinary shot. It's just this
Yeah. It's
bland
simple,
shot.
simple.
But
Yeah.
he had a caption about a type of photography. And I looked it up. I'm like, I've never heard of this type of photography, and it's called banal photography, which is
Anal?
banal, and it's just the non amazing type stuff, like just mundane things. So it's like a boring photography style because you're not shooting anything spectacular.
Right.
You're just
Just-
shooting, your coffee cup or a pencil or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, man, that's my style. Like that's what I shoot. And I reached to him, I'm like, dude, I think you just like opened my eyes to my style of shooting.
Oh, wow.
So I did more research, and I'm like, this is totally my style of shooting. So
So you
a
actually
couple
did
months.
reach out to him?
Oh yeah, yeah, we chat, man. I mean,
Oh,
we
really?
we chat and stuff,
Oh,
and
cool,
and, and,
dude.
and things on Instagram, and I was like, thanks for that, man, because I was like, I was just kind of just shooting, and when you have a style or you put a name to it, you kind of feel more purpose.
Right.
You,
Right.
you
Yeah.
feel like you have something, and that's kind of what I felt. Listen, I've been kind of just aimlessly shooting throughout the last, almost 9, 8 years, and
Awesome, dude.
I felt when he said that, I'm like, I think that's totally me, man, and So I've been kind of catering more of a specific style now, and I kind of
Yeah.
call it the Banal Americana style kind of style because it's kind of rustic, cowboyish
Oh, is that
esque,
what it
you
is?
know.
So that
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've called it,
okay.
Banal Americana, just catching the normal life of people and what
Mm.
we're holding in our hands, and kind of just the mundane things of Americana and just everyday rituals, from making coffee to listening to music, your hobbies, just the everyday things that you do. So
Yeah, yeah.
I've been kind of curating it more to those topics, and then kind of just working on my style of that moody, the dark contrast and
Mm.
stuff. But on the topic we were talking about yesterday in on
Oh yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah, yeah.
so people normally think that my main inspiration is a certain character, and I'll bring his name in a second.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the person that actually got me into photography was a photographer by the name of Jeremy Cowart.
Oh, okay.
Now I found him back in 2003 when he was shooting musicians and artists. Like
Oh,
he had these moody shots of all these recording artists,
oh, okay.
Carrie Underwood, Train, Switchfoot.
Wow,
Like
really?
he would do these big artists, but his photography style was just it was so sick. It was very moody, very contrasty. And when I saw his photography, I'm like, oh man, like this is so good. And I've just been following him, and he's definitely he still does celebrities and like these big projects and artists and things like that.
Yeah.
But he does so many things with more of the with I don't know the word for it, conceptual type stuff. With like he uses some real lighting stuff to get these crazy effects on photos now. So he's really experimented into like more types of shooting.
Yeah, yeah.
Aside, he does these things like 60-second shoots where he'll bring people in and he takes as many photos as he can in 1 minute, and
Really?
he'll have like these crazy effects going on. He'll shoot for 1 minute,
Damn.
and whatever happens happens, and that's what he has. And I love that the I love the spontaneous type way of shooting. So when I shoot, I don't shoot in burst. I know a lot of artists shoot in burst because they want to make sure they get that perfect photo.
Right, right.
But actually, I single shoot. I don't shoot in burst, man. And my thing is, if I don't get the shot, I don't get the shot, but I still have a photo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I still have an essence of just everyday life because it's not perfect,
Right, right.
so I don't try to um I'll shoot maybe 20, 30 photos of something that I'm shooting that day, but that's it. I won't go to 100, 200 shots to
Oh,
find that perfect shot.
yeah,
Whatever I
yeah.
get out of that series,
That's it.
I'll use the best one. If there's blur in it and it's not perfect, that's okay. Like, but
Hey,
that's what I had in that series. So,
interesting. Okay.
so it's not just being perfect. It's just finding beauty in the everyday life of things, and that's kind of where I've been shooting
Interesting.
the last year or so. But Jeremy Coher was my inspiration for getting into photography. It wasn't until 2018 that I came across a guy named Peter McKinnon.
There you go, bro.
And then,
Yep. Great photographer. Love him, man.
and back then, I mean, he was like set up in his living room. He wasn't as big as he is
Oh,
now.
oh yeah.
And it wasn't really even the photography itself that I was really drawn to him. It was more like the branding idea behind photography and
Yeah.
editing. So I was more drawn to that aspect of him
Yeah.
than his actual photography because I'm like, well, anybody can shoot like him, to be honest. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's thousands of people that shoot just as good as him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was the way he was portraying photography and creating a brand. And then he created a second brand called Pete's Pirate Life that I
Yeah.
ended up
Pete's
finding
Pirate Life.
later on. And a funny thing is, I used to be the biggest collector of all his stuff.
Really?
I bought everything he put out.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
My buddy Scott Trimble, he's now the biggest collector. He's got multiple items of everything he's put
Of
out.
everything that yeah.
He has not missed one item yet.
Damn.
But that was me, man. And I had a huge video, man. I did a whole like a review of all his stuff, and I really like that aesthetic that he was putting out in
Yeah.
that brand. And I was more inspired by that aesthetic than his Peter McKinnon brand,
Okay.
because that was more of the product, the lifestyle type stuff, and I'm like that's more me. And of course, I was just so inspired by that. And at one point, he followed me on Instagram for a while, actually.
Peter did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. On
Dude,
his
no
Pete
way, bro.
on his Pete's Pirate Life account, like he followed me for quite a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was while I lived in Germany, and we exchanged some stuff, and yeah, man, and Yeah, I mean, we still chat every now and then. Like there were some comments. Well, I'll post something that I have of his, and
Yeah.
we'll chat for a little bit. But I know he's busy. I don't try to even engage too much with celebrities, man. Like a
Yeah.
couple of comments here and there, it's good with me, man. But so he was a big inspiration, which is why I got that tattoo right there, man,
Yeah, I see that.
of the Pete's Pirate Life. And just
Yeah.
my name's Pete, so
I
like
know
it's
it
just
goes so well,
it
dude.
just goes so well, you know. So it just
Yeah.
fits, you know. It's good inspiration, you know. And at the time,
Yeah.
I was just trying to cover up my arm with stuff, so I ended up getting that. And I do have his bags and stuff as
Oh,
well.
do you? Okay.
I'm a bag dude. I've got so many bags.
Oh,
Like I went through, I'd buy a bag every 6 months, man, because I
are
could
you
not
really
find.
every 6 months?
I used to, man, but
Oh,
like
you used
I
to.
couldn't
Okay.
find the perfect bag, and I went through so cheap bags,
Oh,
expensive bags, and then I finally just settled on a basic small kit like him because I really like his. It fits for my stuff. You know, I don't have a
okay.
lot of gear. I have my two lenses and that's it, you know. So I don't need this massive, you know, case and stuff. And then I have his small shoulder bag because that's normally what I use is the shoulder bag. It'll fit my camera and then a couple little gadgets in there. But
That's cool.
that's
Yeah,
been my photography journey, man. And then I started
yeah,
shooting. You know, well,
what a
actually,
journey,
I
bro.
shot film when we were in Abilene. Actually,
Oh, you did?
um,
Okay.
yeah, I shot film on a Canon. And that was kind of my first like old vintage look. And then it wasn't until like 2 or 3 years ago that I started buying old cameras. Like I have, you know, I have a couple, you know, Canon cameras, and then I have one of the old style Yashica
Oh,
cameras, you
dude.
know. So this actually still has film in it. Like this is just the coolest thing. And then, like I said, I still shoot Polaroid to where I still have an old land camera. And
Wow,
this
dude.
thing actually still shoots film. I have one more
What?
shot. I have one more shot in this, except the film is it's about $100 for 10 shots.
Wow, $100?
They don't make the film anymore, so whatever's out there is out there. But I have a roll in here, and I have one more roll for this. But this is the type of film where you have to pull it out
Yeah.
and you peel it apart. But I got one more shot with this, and I really just wanted to experience what that was like, you know, shooting with these big cameras.
I've
And
never
then I
seen
have,
a camera like that.
yeah, man, they were super cheap just because they're no, you can't, there's no more film, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just desk run. But there's still some boxes out there, and I've got a couple others, old Kodaks, and they all have film in them, man. I just
Yeah.
every now and then I'll pick it up and take a shot and put it back down, you know. So it takes me forever to actually go through a roll, man. But
Well,
so
I just want to,
photography, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
I just want to say, I just really thank you so much for sharing your story, brother, and just the journey, the timeline of how it all started. And I mean, I've seen your work, bro. It's such great
Appreciate it,
work.
man.
I'd love, yeah. And the thing is, my friend, my best friend, Angel Rodriguez, he's a photographer as well, but also a filmmaker. But his inspiration also is Peter McKinnon. He probably has someone else too. But
Yeah.
yeah, we bought his bags and we take him out on road trips sometimes to
Yep.
like Rio Doso, and he brings, we both have the same. It's just so cool. But one of his inspirations is Angels and Airwaves. I don't know if you can see the
Yeah.
yeah, so Peter's close friends with Tom DeLonge, which is
Yeah.
the singer from Blink 182. So he's worked with him. But yeah, so his whole inspiration too is like AVA, but his name is Angel. So Angels and Airwaves is like his all-time favorite band. But all that ties to his inspiration as a filmmaker and photographer. So I
Yeah.
guess so hearing your story, it works great, dude. It's Pete, all that. So
Yeah, yeah, and I actually there's so many art photographers that I'm inspired by. You know, Annie Leibovitz, like she's one of them. She's a great American photographer. She does celebrities. She's done the presidents. Like she's done world leaders, and she was a big inspiration as well. Like I have actually one of her big books here.
oh wow.
I mean, she shoots like celebrities, like, and
Dang, dude.
just the style is right up
Nice
my alley.
book.
But this is a
Yeah.
big book, but this is her career over like 11 years, man. And I still look at books and stuff and photography. It's not just on social media. I have like Time Magazine's most 100 influential
Jeez, bro.
photographies for photos of all time. Like, you know, a lot of photographers, they forget to go back to the history of photography and kind of like how to dissect, you know, the first photograph ever taken and some of the most iconic shots ever. You know, you need to study those and appreciate it if they weren't perfect. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the top 100 influential photos, like they're not perfect photos, man, but they were just such an impact to the time and things like that. And
Yeah.
it's just um, the still
Yeah.
life. It's
Right.
just very inspiring. I will say photography is my main hobby, but dude, I have so many hobbies, man. I
Oh, I
got
bet, dude. Yeah.
I got into leather work while I was in Germany. So I have
Oh, you do leather work as
I
well?
do leather work, man. I like make
Oh, dude.
wallets and stuff like that, journal covers. I have a laser in my garage, so I just pop stuff in there and engrave whatever I want, man. And of course, music is still kind of like a side thing. I do that every now and then. And then I started
Oh
learning to
yeah,
tap.
well, I'm sorry because
Yeah,
I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but
yeah.
what about your music? Yeah, are you still writing? Or are you?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I have, I don't pick it up as much as I'd like, but I'm trying to pick it back up. There's a couple guys in town that I've started to kind of be around with their music and stuff, and they're really encouraging me to pick it back up because I kind of just stopped, and I got a couple clips and stuff there on TikTok and stuff, but I've been wanting to record for years, man. It's been about a decade where I have well more than enough songs, but it's just time. Hopefully, at some point, I'll put another album out.
Yeah, dude.
My voice has definitely changed over the years. My style has changed. So yeah, at some point I will. Now that I have like all the equipment and stuff and recording stuff, it's just
Oh, you
time.
do?
It's
You have the
yeah,
equipment?
I have everything, man. Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
dude.
time. It's just time,
Just the
man.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just another hobby. And then I picked up tattooing last year. I started learning to tattoo, and
What, bro?
have
You're
like a
just like a
yeah,
guy with
I
all
have
these
a,
hats on you, bro. You know how to
all of them, man. I have so many hobbies, man. They're so expensive
jack
too.
of all
But
trades, bro.
but yeah, quick, but man, I know we're running out of time, man. I wanted to know how you got into the podcasting thing because like I just love podcasting, man. Like that's just the coolest thing.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate you asking. So, yeah, because we're really timing on this, but I'll make it quick. I was part of a punk rock band back in 2020. When was this? 2022. So when I moved back to El Paso, I was with some friends of mine and they had their band already, and they asked me if I like to, help them out with some playing the drums, and I was like, yeah, sure. So as I became officially part of the band, I went and played a lot of places in El Paso with them, and by doing that, I got to meet a lot of different artists, a lot of different just creative people, songwriters, just great musicians out there, and we would hear exchange each other's stories, and I would hear their story, and I just was very inspired by it. And one thing about me, I was just after I left the band, almost 2 years after that, I just said, why not start? I never, and the thing is, I never listened really to podcasts. I never done this before, but I always love to talk to people. I always like to hear their story. It just inspires me, and I was like, hey, well, why not just start a podcast and invite musicians that I already know from
Yeah,
meeting them prior because of the band I was part of,
that's
and
awesome.
just have them come on, and then from there it just took off where they were recommending this person, they were recommending other people, and then the part of it was for me, I just said, well, how about I just reach out to people and ask them to want to
Yeah,
share their story, and
yeah.
I would just go on websites and ask certain musicians and film directors, some of them in Hollywood that now no one too big like Spielberg, but there have been some directors I've interviewed that are from Angel Studios that did come on and share, and I was like, cool. So ever since that gave me a boost of confidence of like, wow, these people are actually saying yes that I have never met in my life. Then
Yeah,
who else would come on here? So from that point, it just took off, and I've
that's
been doing it
awesome.
almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So,
You got to keep it going, man. Like, it's people like me. I came across it. I'm like, man, this inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, you have such an eclectic group of people come on, man. Like,
oh, everyone's so great, bro.
everybody,
Yeah,
man. That's so cool,
everyone.
man.
And like last night, I went to a show and just seeing the show live of being there in the moment. It's great, because
Yeah,
you get to appreciate art and
yeah, yeah,
especially when it's live. So,
yeah.
yeah, man. Before we end the podcast, I hate the fact that it has to be like so short. How do they
Yeah.
find your work, bro, on social media?
So I usually just Instagram's my thing. So Instagram.com/Pete.af. The
Pete
easy as
dot
that.
AF. Okay.
Yep, Pete.af.
Thanks there.
Yeah. Follow me on, I'll post as many daily stories as I can and photos, couple throughout the week and stuff, just depending on how much I've been shooting. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on Rhythm and Roads and sharing your story. It was such, I gotta let everyone know again, I had not seen this dude in over
Yeah.
15
It's
years.
been
This is
about
really the
15 years,
first
man.
time that I actually like get to interact over
Yeah.
live like this. So this
Yeah,
is
man. Yeah, it's good to come across your channel, man. Cause you know, I just you forget people and you lose touch and like I didn't even know you had this going. So I'm glad I mean, I think it's fate, man. Like, we're both into the same things. I think we just need to reconnect, man. So it's kind of awesome what you're doing with the podcast and
same with
totally
you,
support
bro.
that, man. Totally support that, man.
I'm glad that you're doing such a great job with your work, your
Appreciate
photography
it.
work, doing other things than just photography. And that's awesome, man. I like that you're being very creative and just like, oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. So
Yep. Whatever I can use my hands for, man, that's my whole thing is being creative. Yeah.
sounds good, man. Well, thank you again, Pete Ruiz, for
Appreciate it,
coming
man.
on, guys. Follow him on his Instagram, support his photography, his work, and just it was great catching up with you, brother.
Good
So,
to see you, man. Appreciate
yeah,
you.
guys, thanks for catching up on this episode. We'll catch you on the next one.